So these four angels, as you're about to see in just a second, these four angels were created to hold back the wrath of God until God gives permission for the wrath of God to pour out on the earth for complete destruction according to his will. Imagine being created with just one purpose, and that is to hold back the wrath of God, empowered by God. Wasn't that just, and they're like, God, we're holding it back, we're holding it back. Oh, it's getting worse and worse and worse, we're about to let go. And then all of a sudden, verse 2. And then I saw another angel, so the fifth angel, ascending and rising from the sun, which ascending and rising from the sun means more of from the east, talking about rising from the sun, of Jerusalem. In other words, this angel came forward with a purpose of a mission to help reach and to, as we say, with the seals of the living God. And he called with a loud voice to the four angels who had been given power to harm the earth, saying, do not harm the earth, the sea, or the trees until, everybody say until. I'll just look at your neighbor and say until. I'll just, for those online, type until, all right? Do not harm until we have sealed the who? Servants of our God on their what? Forehead. We're going to dive into this a little bit. When I was reading the very first part of this, and it's talking about how these angels hold back this wrath of God upon this earth, it kind of reminds me of when I grew up overseas in Guam. Guam, we had an 8.2 earthquake, and that was devastating. But we had hurricanes, which you would call hurricanes. We called them typhoons, would swing through these little islands. And I remember we caught it up on video, and we're going to show you in just a second, how this typhoon came over our little island. If you don't know anything, and I know a lot about hurricanes and typhoons, it's because I went through a whole bunch. The first part of the storm, the hurricane that goes through, is strong, but it's not as strong as the back end of the hurricane typhoon. And if you did not know, and if you look at satellites, it's pretty cool. You see this massive, powerful, wrathful, whatever, and then right in the center, it's called the eye of the storm. So when I'm reading this, well, I know throughout history, and I'm about to show you a video, throughout history, we see that the wrath of God, since we believe it's cycling, the wrath of God has been revealed. We went through a storm, but on the flip other side, as soon as God allows those angels to let loose, and maybe they've already let loose, the wrath of God is going to come by like none other. So watch this video and kind of get a perspective. The first part of the video is the first part of the storm, and then you get to see the eye, the other part of the storm. Go ahead and watch this.
Looks like maybe we're in perhaps part of the eye of the storm right now. Like a real thick ridge of clouds circling us. It's become very, very calm. Okay, this is now the other side of the eye. The winds have really picked up again.
As a child, that was the coolest thing ever. Really was. To know that for days we had been preparing for the storm. And then in the dead center, and you probably saw myself and my brother and sister and some neighbors going out like nothing had happened. And I think that's what's happened with the Christian church, especially in America. We know that according to this, and throughout Revelation and through other teachings, that the wrath of God is going to get worse and worse and worse. But listen closely to me. It's cycled and it's been bad. But I think for years and years and years, we here in America have been protected in this little eye. When throughout history the storms have gone through, which has resulted, ladies and gentlemen, that we have been in this eye